get back live. Sorry for that. It was yeah, special reboot moment. I like Windows. I like Windows for that. It's
Oh,
crazy. Um,
it's just one part of the game.
yeah, I hope everything will be nice now. We are back with Heinke. And sorry for this cut. Désolé pour ce petit break que certains ont pu voir en fait. Donc voilà, j'espère que tout est reparti au bon moment. Sauf sur Facebook, peut-être apparemment. On Facebook, we are maybe not live for the moment. I maybe need to get back here and here. So we are back on YouTube, and we are listening to your music now again. And I hope we will get back to Facebook soon. I take just the time. Facebook is always taking more time than others. So you can continue to explain because we are live on YouTube now, and
Okay.
yeah, you can continue to tell me what you were said.
Yeah, you were asking me if there was one track on the album you did like most, or I couldn't understand it, right?
So because we were cut, I just remember we were talking about your young years in a reggae
Yeah,
band.
with my reggae band.
Yes, exactly. And
Yeah.
you were continuing to tell me what you were made after the
Yeah.
reggae band. So continue.
Yeah, we had this first steps as a reggae band, and then we developed, we started to get more in a rock band direction.
Yeah,
And but it was more like a little bit of how do you call it today? Stoner rock or
yeah,
psychedelic rock,
yes,
whatever you call it. My favorite band was Pink Floyd, which I saw 1989 the first time in live concert,
yeah,
and they were great for me. This was my aiming point, my goal to get in a direction like this.
yes.
And they also have these ambience parts. Pink Floyd also had these ambience parts,
Hmm.
and I really liked it. So, yeah, this was the time where I began to realize that music is much more than just uh, 3 minutes. So um, this was the normal, actually normal time span for a track.
Hmm.
3 minutes were played in the radio. It had to be radio um, fittable.
Yeah,
Uh,
like the three
Pink
minutes.
Floyd wasn't.
Yeah,
They made tracks like 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and I like that because when I dive into music, I like it when it develops more than 3 minutes,
yeah.
like a symphony.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
music I like too when there is no limits, when you don't have a limitation. Because if you think with a limitation before you create, you cannot do right things, I think.
yeah.
It's really important.
But then I started to experiment with really live music without practicing, just going on stage and playing, and let's see what happens. Just live music without any limitation, just experimenting on stage. This was a really interesting
Yeah.
period of my
Mm.
band
Yeah.
life.
And what do you do as a sound engineer? How do you create your things? What is your work, and that serve you for your music too? For certainly, sure.
When I was 24 years old, I decided to make a study audio technique,
Yeah.
and yeah, then I started in Austria with the ORF, which is the national radio and television company,
Yeah.
to work on classical things, which really was inspiring for me.
Yeah.
Because I knew classic, but I wasn't there when it was performed and practiced. You know, we recorded live concerts and we made all these rehearsals before. And so I could really learn about listening. It was because really important for me to get more into listening, because I've never heard the inspiration like this.
Yeah.
With modern classics, like Prometheus from Luigi Nono.
Yeah.
Which is a modern classic composer, and he made really weird stuff with like an orchestra in 4 positions in a church. From every direction comes the sound. It was really great, and it was far before surround sound came in DVD times.
Yeah.
Really great stuff, and I learned much about sound, and I tried to get this in my musical thinking.
Yeah. And you have
maybe it worked.
Yeah, I think I feel it. I feel it good. And you have continued in this way of thinking finally. And now, what is your project? What do you have in mind for the next steps?
Yeah, there is one thing is my 432 project. It's also my Facebook account. Is called 432 Project.
Yeah.
Which is more on this meditation stuff. And I've got a new CD in progress. It's just going in a direction, like it's called Winterly Forest. I've got one song finished, which is called Winterly Forest, and it's about 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
And it's like going to a forest in the winter, where everything is very quiet, and you hear the snow falling from the trees.
Yeah.
And it's like crystal forest sound. And this will be the next CD coming in the 432 project.
D'accord.
And I'm doing another thing. It's called Sacromagic. It's my band that since 2012 I've got the project Sacromagic, which you can find also on the internet.
Yeah.
And with my wife together, she's a singer.
Yeah.
And she's playing guitars too, and she's singing on my Sacromagic tracks.
D'accord.
And we are now on rehearsals with my friends and making a live project for the more rock music style. It's a Sacromagic. The new album will come out, I think, in the next 2 or 3 months. And yeah, this is what I do for the moment. And I did something with Cosmo Welfare, which is a friend from a 432 group in Facebook. And we did some tracks together, and he made a whole album out of it. It's called Heliopolis.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is things which I do and work nowadays.
Yeah. So you have many projects for you for the years to come. finally. You have this
Yeah,
album
it
at
has,
the.
has to be.
So you haven't talked about this album at the beginning of the year, Heliopolis. You were wanted to tell me it's a work with somebody else. To try to talk to me about this album.
Yeah, it was the starting point was a discussion on Facebook, and
Yeah.
everyone was, you know, like making really big thoughts about 432, and I said, oh, okay, there are so many good people here, and why not making music just instead of talking? And there was one guy who said, yes, I do it with you, and we started with one track.
Yeah.
He sent me some audio, and I played a flute on it, and he liked it, and so we made 3 or 4 songs together. And he was very fast. He's a very fast guy, which I am not, because I take time for everything. I need time for everything. And he did the rest of the album on his own, and then he published it. And he asked me if he could, and I said, yeah, sure, you should.
nice work. So nice work together.
Yeah, we started in December, and he published it in February.
Okay.
So
it's on iTunes if you want to find it for people who want to listen to it. I have found it on iTunes. I wasn't know you were you have made this one. So have you tried to make your music live? Maybe it's just a question like that. Have you tried to show your music in live or only on CD for relax?
yeah, the thing is, the original idea is to make music out of the moment, which is always live. But the CDs were a project for people who need it at home to make their breathing practice or whatever. And so I just made it very without limiting, which if you listen to my songs, then you know that I would need several people to make it really live happen, because I cannot flute and piano and drums.
Because you made your music quite alone for the most part, so it's not easy after. So you were wanted to talk more about your spirit around the 432. Not to enter in the roots, but to explain more what you have found, like a way you have found. I'm trying to just tell you what have you found in your studies, in your research, in this tune exactly. With the ancients, and I try to open your door and try to open in it, to enter in it.
Yeah, and I have to start with astrology, because my wife is also an astrologer.
Perfect.
And she was making a connection for me to the the concept of synchronicity, or the synchronicity. I don't know what's in English.
It is.
When things are happening at the same time and they look like they have no connection, but they have a connection. This was for me a starting point of thinking. You know, so. When I saw the first article about 432 hertz, there was it was from a numerology standpoint, and it says, because Pythagoras was a mathematician, and he said 432 together is 9, and everything is in the most of his Pythagorean tuning is in the like query-sum is 9.
Yeah, exactly.
The checksum, you know.
Tesla were say
And,
the same 3, 6, 9. Yes.
And I thought about it, and I just said, okay, it's interesting. Yeah, I will think about it. And then I thought about it, and I said, okay, I cannot get it too mathematical, you know. For me not. But I checked more about Pythagoras and what he did, and he was not only doing mathematical stuff from out of the flower of life, if you know that.
Yes, I know it.
This concept of circles and all that stuff. And when you see this flower of life and you see all the triangles, where the Pythagoras get out his Pythagorean mathematical concepts out of it, then there must be something behind. There must be. If I get it, or if I can realize it with my mind. But if there are so many coincidences, then there is something.
Yeah.
And this was my starting point. And I'm more a musician, and I start to read all these articles in the internet, and there's so many crazy stuff, you know. I read many things when I said, okay, but I don't know, but I get it from the heart. And then I realized, for me, it's working. So I cannot tell too much about it, planetary constellations or whatever you see. There is something, and I can imagine it, and I can feel it, and I can smell it, and that's for me enough. I do not too much
thinking,
brain using.
Yeah, that's why we need to play it with the earth. It's sure. And what is your instrument favorite? You were talking about the flute. You have a brush at the beginning. It's interesting because we have the ear. And what is the instruments who are talking to you deep inside when you play? Piano is important, you were said, flute, and
piano is a very interesting instrument for me, but it's a keyboard, you know. It's a very logical instrument.
Yeah.
And I realized over years that like a flute or an electric guitar is more an instrument where I can find myself really expressed much more than with the keyboard. I like the keyboard, I like the piano, I like the sound, I like the bigness, the greatness of the sound.
Yeah.
But the flute brought me back to my breathing and to myself. This flute, breathing is soul, you know. Breathing is like singing. Singing is the purest instrument. And I also like to sing on my CDs, both on deep meditation and also on Pythagorean tunes. I make sounds with vocals. Sometimes people don't realize that they are vocals. They think it's a synthesizer or something else, but vocals. I try to make it, and I mix it up with electronic sounds and make sound with it, because it's the purest instrument. Singing, then for me comes the flute and the strings, string instruments like violins or guitars, whatever you name it.
And it's it's interesting because you mix it with modern sounds because we can hear it in different. There is like a little bit of breakbeat drums or rhythm behind in the back. You try to mix old instruments and new sounds. It's interesting for that.
Yeah, I create sounds sometimes with very weird things, because I use like a cushion, you know, a meditation cushion.
Yeah.
And I'm hitting it, and with a microphone together, it sounds like a drum, but it isn't a drum. It's just a meditation cushion. No.
I see. Yeah.
So people don't really have to know what it is, because if it's interesting, that's all it needs.
It's very nice. So we will have a break with the end of your song, the fourth track, the track Dive Into.
Yeah. How long do we? Okay. Yeah.
And now you can listen because the microphone were not plugged. I'm sorry. So I was explaining to the auditors, sorry for the cuts and sorry for the music and sorry for everything like that. I was having a reboot with my computer, so excusez-moi pour tout ça. Donc, I was asking to you, what is the spirit you want to exchange with humanity, with your music? Because Mozart were said, I want to change humanity with my music. It's a word of Mozart. So, what is your word with your music?
Yeah. Yes, when I was young, I wanted to change everything. But now I see that we can just make little steps, you know. And my part, and that was what I see is my part as a musician, is to give a little bit to everyone who wants to open his heart to this sound or this style, and want to get a little bit further, you know, just trying to meditate or trying to make breathing lessons, trying to become an open-minded human. That's what I would like that happens in the next years or centuries. And if my music is helping someone to be relaxed, cool, open-minded, loving, enjoying, this would be great. I would love it.
That's your goal too, so it's something really important. It's a sacred way, you know?
For me, it's all about the heart, you know? The center for me is the heart. The mind is interesting and sometimes very, smart, but without the heart, there's nothing really good.
Yeah, it's true.
What you do, you have to do it with the heart. And this is the story I always want to tell in music, in paintings, in talking, whatever it is. That's what I want to say. Open your heart, open your heart, open your heart. Then your mind will follow.
Yeah, that's true. Make everything with art. So, what do you want to add before before the end of this interview? What do you want to say? More things you haven't said? I'm sorry again for this cut in this interview, because that's cut every energy I tried to keep, and it was not easy for me. But what do you want to say more? One more word. I let you.
Yeah, I just want to say to you not to be sorry, because it's part of it.
Yeah,
it was a live session, and sometimes things go wrong, and that's what we have to keep in mind. It's when it's live. Also, I'm playing on stage. Sometimes things go wrong, and the only thing we can do is to keep it up. And go further. So this is a good parable of what's going on here on this planet, because things are going wrong here also. And I hope that at the end of the century, people come more into a cooperation kind of society, not competition. You know, everything is competition now. We do things very in a way of measuring, and we should go into more cooperative, loving, peaceful. This would be my dream. I think that's what could heal the earth and could heal our souls and our living. We just have to be more together, like music. Music is a good teacher. Music is a very good teacher. If people make music together, it's not interesting if the guitar player is the best one, the best and fastest guitar player on the world. No, it's just how they play together.
Yeah.
That makes the result. How they play together, and therefore you have to listen to the other, and then react in your way. That's all.
Yeah. Nice words for this end. Thank you so much for explaining your spirit and to show your music. To explain, try to put some words on your music. I hope it will be interesting to listen to your spirit for the auditors. And
I hope so.
One thing is sure, it's the music they have listened in background was a good route. It was good roots to.
Yeah, I couldn't hear it.
Yeah.
But I want to thank you too, because you are making this radio station for everyone who likes 432 music. And yeah, thank you for inviting me for this interview. Axel or Axel, or how it's spelled in
That's
France?
it, Axel, yes.
I don't know.
Yes, Axel.
And you're a nice guy, and I appreciated the interview, and I liked it very much. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you too. It was a pleasure.
And I thank all the people out there who listen to it, and keep in tune, stay in tune.
Yeah.
With Axel 432 Hertz radio.
So thank you so much for your words and for your presence. It was a pleasure. And maybe I will reserve you in better conditions, maybe to listen to your music in live. We were talking about it. It's possible.
Yeah.
And to have an exchange without cut. And you are true. It's not a problem really, because it's free. It's free for people. It's free for me to give it. It's a game. It's the rules of the game when we are live. I've played it and it was a pleasure with no problem. And things are good and better and better, I'm sure. So thank you so much for that, and I tell you, let's see the next time, okay?
Yeah, thank you. Really loved it.
You're welcome. So
bye to everyone.
Bye, and I let the auditors with a bit of the last song of your album with the Elephant's Dreams. Bye.
Bye.